So the quarterfinals in the World Junior Championships has gotten off to a crazy start. Not only has Finland as the underdogs taken on Slovakia and beaten them in overtime 4-3 in an absolute thriller, and on top of that, with 11 seconds to go, Canada got knocked out by Czechia as they got the go-ahead goal to win themselves the game and carry themselves through to the semifinals. If you think about the story between the Canada-Czechs game, it's absolutely wild. Obviously, Canada beat Czechia last year in the finals to win the World Junior Championships. So for Czechia to come back and get themselves their revenge is really cool to see. So credit to them. They played a great game from start to finish. Clearly the more deserving team. They were much hungrier than Canada, who had no finish, and they got themselves the victory. So let's go through the game here and talk about some of the goals. In the start, Canada got a couple shots, but they couldn't get one by Czechia's netminder. And then Jakub Stensel got himself on the board with a short side snipe there on Roseo. A nice quick turnaround play off the rush caught Canada flat-footed, and the Czechs went up 1-0 early on in this game. Shortly after that, Czechia missed themselves a penalty shot with the chance to extend their lead, but then with 2 minutes to go, Tomasz Szabolka with a shot from the point finds its way through the pads of the Canadian netminder, and Czechia takes a 2-0 lead heading into the break. Canada's panicking at this point, and everyone is wondering how they're going to respond. After that, Czechia had a couple of really good chances early on in the second, but then Matthew Wood gets himself a breakaway. He goes top corner and then cuts the Czechs' lead in half early on in the second period. This goal gave Canada a lot of momentum and they really started peppering on the shots, but they couldn't get anything by until Furlong had himself a shot and it found its way into the back of the net, and Canada tied the game up 2-2 in the second period, and it was all squared heading into the second intermission. It stayed that way until the clock hit 11 seconds remaining. Stensel has a shot and it goes off of Bach, deflects the other direction that Rousseau is going, hits the post, and then goes into the net. An absolute heartbreaker for Canada, and Bach looked absolutely devastated on the bench, so you gotta feel bad for the guy. But the Czechs thoroughly deserve this win. They battled hard, and we will see them face off against Sweden in the semifinals, as they also just beat Switzerland 3-2 in overtime. I want to talk about that game as well. Sweden found themselves with a lead 2-0 early on in the game, and everyone thought it was over. Lekkerimäki had himself another goal, his fourth of the tournament, and he continues to shine. But yeah, 2-0, people thought it was done, but then Switzerland slowly clawed their way back into this game, and they eventually tied the game up 2-2, heading into the third period, where the game kind of got a little bit out of hand with the refereeing. And that's been a big issue throughout the entirety of this tournament. You could argue so many different questionable calls, but this might take the cake for the worst one. With 2 minutes left in the hockey game, a knockout game, winner goes to the semifinals of the World Junior Champs. That's a really light call, man. I can't defend that. No one can. And I honestly don't know how to explain it, but Sweden got themselves a power play nonetheless. They weren't able to score on it heading into overtime, and then in that overtime they got another chance on the power play, but this time they got themselves the winner. It was Axel Sandin-pellikka off of a Lekkerimäki feed, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy Sweden won. I'll admit that I've been cheering for them this entire tournament, but to see them win this way leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. The simple truth is that this was just unfair, and Switzerland worked really hard. Anyone who watched the game would know that they deserve better than that. And I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below on these calls, because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that you're calling that in a knockout game. But regardless, that's all for me, guys. Semifinals coming up in 2 days. Give me your predictions in the comment section down below. And yeah, man, subscribe if you're new. I'll be sure to catch you in the next one. Peace out and take care.